Hey folks, it's Tom, your frugal prepper. So I've been carnivore. I've been off insulin and off all my prescription medications for quite a while. Um, but on keto, I was noticing my sugar was starting to come back up, and then I went carnivore and it came down. I've taken it several times when I've woken up after eating the night before, right? And I wake up and my fasting is always below 100 in the morning. Sometimes it's been as low as 74, but usually it's in the 80s, somewhere mid 80s. So I thought, well, that's great. But I went into the extended fast, and then last night I was working out beside the garden, and I just ran out of energy. Like my muscles were just like weak. Like I couldn't move them. I have to kind of like, it was just really something. I've never experienced that before, ever in my life. And my heart was skipping beats, and I felt a couple of little chest pains, like when my heart would skip a couple beats. And my legs were just really weak too. It almost felt like my knees were just going to fold over and I was going to fall down. And I came inside and ate. And then I felt better. And so I ate like 4 breaded chicken nuggets just to get something in my body really fast. I don't normally eat chicken nuggets anymore now that I'm carnivore or keto. But my son still has chicken nuggets because that's about the only protein he'll eat. And he needs some protein. So I just had some of those, and then I had a couple hard-boiled eggs and a can of tuna with lots of salt on it, and then I started feeling better. But I went to bed and I slept nearly 12 hours, and I slept great. I didn't have to get up and go pee or anything, which makes me think my sugar wasn't that high, right? So usually I become polydipsic when it gets over 200, right? Which is where you just drink constantly and you pee constantly. So I wasn't polydipsic, which, it could still be high without being polydipsic though. So, I went ahead and just skipped breakfast this morning and then took it before lunch because I was feeling a little weird, a little lightheaded, just kind of strange. It would seem to get better when I would start walking, but sitting at my desk especially, I was kind of like, whoa, what the heck? And so I took it and it was 166. So that tells me that my sugar's getting too high when I fast. I think maybe what's happening is my liver is going in and converting fat to ketones, but it's also converting fat into sugar through gluconeogenesis. And it's expecting my muscles and tissues to use that sugar because they need energy, but they are still very insulin resistant. And they're still saying, no, we're not taking anymore. No, we're not taking anymore. Even though they kind of need energy right then. And I'm very insulin resistant. I'm very sugar resistant. So my cells aren't grabbing that energy like they should, or as fast as they should. And so I think that's what's happening. So I went ahead and ate lunch. I ate some steak for lunch. And I went ahead and took a glucophage. Because I have plenty of glucophage. I have bottles and bottles of that stuff. So I took one of those, and I went ahead and took my sugar when I got home again. And when I got home, my sugar was like 119. So that's acceptable, right? And then I went ahead and ate some steak. And I worked on a truck for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Went in and took my sugar again, 140. Again, that's probably pretty acceptable. So just eating the meat seems to keep it under control, right? Before the next time I eat, So tomorrow, I'm going to take it when I first get up. Then I'm going to probably skip breakfast again and then take it before lunch and see what happens. Or I might go ahead and eat breakfast and then just take it before lunch. But I'm going to do it without having the glucophage and see if it's still elevating too high. If it is, then I'll go on a glucophage for now and keep that down lower and just continue to eat meat and lose the weight. So that's why I always tell people, like, I don't consider my diabetes to be in remission, right? If I eat a piece of birthday cake, my sugar's going to go sky high. If, I'm still very insulin resistant, and I'm sure that with sugars like in that range, I'm probably still making a lot of insulin even when I eat meat, right? And I just have to lose some more weight and get a little bit healthier, and then that will probably, insulin resistance will go away, and I will go into remission unless I start eating carbohydrates again. It's going to take longer than most people. Like when I first found out I was diabetic and I fasted for the 90 days and I lost like 85 pounds or 80 pounds, my diabetes went away for nearly a year. I had A1Cs that were in the fives, and I was perfectly fine on no medication for nearly a year. And then I put the weight back on and it came back. And since then, I've just been taking insulin and doing all this different stuff. So my body's been diabetic for a long time. It hasn't handled sugar well at all. So it's just going to take a long time for it to heal. Some people who just found out they're pre-diabetic or just found out they're diabetic or have only been diabetic for a year or two, man, they can turn that around really fast. People who've been diabetic for a long time, it might take a little longer to turn that around. But if I can do it by just eating the meat and, keep it so that it's not getting, I'd say I don't want it to get over 150 after I eat, really. I mean, ideally, right? I mean, 160 is where it really starts to do some damage. So you want to keep it like 150 or below after you eat. And, it should be 120 or so before you eat. And when you get up in the morning after you've been sleeping, and you should be in good ketosis, then it should be down below 100. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it. I'm thinking about getting one of those continuous glucose monitor things. I don't know. I just use the cheap Walmart glucometer with the cheap test strips. It works fine, and I don't care about pricking my finger. It doesn't bother me at all. I just take the lancet and I just poke it. I don't use that tool clicky thing. I just poke my finger with the lancet, squeeze a little drop of blood out and take it. And those strips and stuff are pretty cheap at the Walmart brand, so I can take it as often as I want to. But I'm just gonna have to keep an eye on that, and see, am I improving? Am I doing good? I definitely don't ever want to go back on insulin, but I might need to take metformin. I might need to take a pill or 2 pills a day. For a little while when I first became diabetic again, I took a half a pill in the morning and a half a pill in the evening. But they put me on the extended release ones after that, so I could just take 1 pill, and I think these are extended release. So it extends it out so it doesn't all hit your system at once. And it helps you not have diarrhea as bad, which metformin can cause, especially if you are new to taking it. It really can cause some problems there. But I mean, that's where I'm at, I'm glad I thought to take my sugar this afternoon, and I know it's getting too high though. So extended fasting right now, it's just not going to work for me. A 24-hour fast is going to be the most I'm going to do, but I'm probably going to eat 2 or 3 times a day for a little while and just make sure that my sugar is stabilized, and then start working it, see where I'm going, right? I want to lose the weight, but I don't want my sugar getting up over 200, right? Especially with my diabetic retinopathy and my macular degeneration, that will hurt it. So it's kind of a balancing act right now, but I'm sure I'll be okay, and I'll make it, and I'll just get the rest of this weight off, and then I'll probably be fine. But anyway, that's kind of what's going on. It just is what it is, and I just have to deal with it and work at getting it taken care of. It's just one of them things. But anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.